Hey, it's Jack, no K, Jack in the attic, and I'm going to finish knitting these pants today. Okay, before I get into anything, I just want to acknowledge that I'm getting feedback that my unstructured knit and chat videos where I just kind of ramble for 20-30 minutes seem to be people's favorites, not based on views necessarily. The goth knitting video really skewed everything, so now I have no clue, but based on actual feedback. And I am so willing to go with that because these are much easier to edit. Editing and I are not on good terms. I don't know that we will ever be. We're still working out our differences. Anyway, happy to continue making these videos, so I just will. Today I want to talk about the couple of things I've finished recently. I finished 2 projects in one night that had been ongoing. They just both ended up having the final steps finished on the same night, so I felt very accomplished. I also want to talk about the things I'm currently working on, obviously including the pants. We'll talk about the pants. I've made some progress on the pants. The pants are getting finished today. I know it. I feel it in my bones. And then I also want to talk about some upcoming knitting plans, because today is December 21st when I'm filming this, so it is the solstice, so it is time to talk about winter knitting plans and why I should have done my winter knitting in the fall. I just didn't plan super well, and I never know how long projects are going to take me. So at least I have one sweater done, you know? Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the pants. Let me show you where I'm at. I finished one leg last night. I did a little I-cord bind off. That's a stitch marker. I think it looks nice, minus the cat hair. I've run into the issue of ordering yarn from another country and then running out and then ordering again and getting completely different dye lots. Yay! So I have this problem on both legs. It's at the bottom of a pant leg. I don't know that it's going to matter. I'm no stranger to fabric dyeing though, so worst case scenario, I over dye these if it ends up being as visible as it is on camera. I actually didn't notice it at all until I brought it into the natural light on camera, so hopefully that's a good sign. Anyway, one leg is done. Wow, that really looks bad. Let's just proceed assuming I am going to over dye these, because that's such a clear distinction. Well, now I can't see it at all. You know, we're proceeding as if either everything is fine or I'm going to fix it. Don't worry. Anyway, last night I measured and I had 8 inches of this leg left to do. I timed one row and counted the rows per inch and calculated that I can knit approximately 1 inch in 20 minutes. So in total that would be like 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is kind of a lot of knitting, but that was a measurement I took, again, last night. I've done some knitting since then. I am thinking this is going to take maybe 2 hours. I can knit through an entire movie. That's no big deal to me. These pants are getting done. I'm finishing the pants. So what I finished this week, oh my gosh, I'm thrilled. I'll show you the weirder one first, and then the one I'm super stoked about. Okay, so my friend, an iron worker, I made, it looks so silly, but it looks huge. How do I say gently that this man has the largest head of anyone I know? And this is not meant to fit so snug because it has the sides. Just like a medieval ass hat. Anyway, this is a hard hat liner type beanie to wear, again, under a hard hat. I'm gonna put it on. And it's gonna look silly. I actually don't know that it looks that crazy. It's too long on me because my head isn't wide enough to fill it out, which is impressive because I do have, I think, a larger than average head. So I have been told. Did you do the thing in 4th or 5th grade where everyone measured their heads and then used that to learn math things, where everyone's head measurement was on the chalkboard? And then you were doing like finding the mean and median, and did you do that and did it stick with you? Did it stick with you that you had the biggest head in the class, or you were tied for the biggest head in the class? And your best friend had the other biggest head in the class? Has this ever happened to you? Anyway, this is Malabrigo Rios. The pattern is by Woolly Wormhead. I have said this before, but the pattern looks so overwhelming when you just open the PDF because it is written for every yarn weight and every size. So there's a lot of information, but once you get, there's a chart for your cast on number based on your yarn weight and the size. Once you get your cast on number and look at the little options that you can pick, it's easy. It's a beanie. It's like, how could it have been hard? And yet I was still scared. Anyway, it turned out really well. I'm hoping it's not actually too big, but I don't think it's going to be. Okay, so remember the back cape that stopped being a back cape, and I had to start over like 4 times, and a bunch of things happened, and I don't even remember the timeline at this point. That one. So the pattern changed, the yarn changed, and I restarted multiple times. That's the overall vibe of this project. And yet, it turned out so cute. Okay, so this is now based on the 7/8 shoulder shawl, which is hard to say, by Lainey Hall. But I added a hood and I added crochet detail around the edge for a couple reasons. So first of all, I love the garter row texture. I love the like raglan style increases with the eyelets. And I love the hood that I just sort of freeballed. I've never improvised a hood before, but I think it turned out about as well as it could have. I just split it into thirds with stitch markers and increased at those points, and then knit just straight for a while, and then did the same type of decreases, and then did a 3 needle bind off at the end. It was actually pretty easy. Just trying it on a lot as I went. That was all that was needed. So I will do that again. I'm just going to add hoods to things if you can just do that for free. Let me put it on so you can see it. Okay, so part of the reason I crocheted around the entire edge was to add this loop, not my hair, to add this loop so that it could have a button closure at the neck. It's just a cozy, cute little capelet. I want one now. At the increase points, I, with the crochet edge, added a little bit of a point to give it a little bit of batty flair, since I wasn't using the bat pattern anymore, but I still wanted the vibe, by just doing the regular single crochet all along until the point, and then I did half double chain 2, half double in the point, just to add a tiny little bit. It's not like overtly a bat capelet, but I love it. This is a gift for someone, and I didn't give a disclaimer that they should stop watching before I pointed it out, so I'm just gonna tell her not to watch this video at all until I get to actually give this to her. That's okay. I do want to get a fuller view of this. I will absolutely be giving it a steam because it's a little wobbly at the edges there, but I think a steam will fix it. I'll also trim this weird little nub off. This yarn was kind of a pain to work with. I did a lot of frogging and the fuzz on it sticks to itself. This is Hobbii Fluffy Day, I think. It might be Fluffy Day XL, is that a thing? It's the one that's a bulky number 5. The end product is really nice. It's really warm, cozy, and soft. Like, no regrets, really. The initial yarn I bought for it just wasn't right. I will still absolutely use it. It's black yarn. We've talked about this. If there's one thing I know, it's that putting anything on my head is just gonna be static time. So those are the two things that I finished that I was very excited to finish because they're the only Christmas gifts I made this year at all. So if you are last minute holiday knitting, crocheting, crafting in any way while you watch this, I see you, I feel you. I'm so glad to not be you this year, but I respect you. Moving on, we talked about the brioche bandana cowl that I started. I want to show you my progress. It's not a lot. So this I have mostly been working on in various waiting rooms because it fits in my little purse. Ta-da, my first experiment with brioche. It looks so wobbly. I know that's gonna block out. It's fine. It's fine, it's gonna be fine. So I am amazed at how long this is taking. I'm amazed at how much longer it's going to take, but it's not hard. It's just slow. Yeah, here's how little progress I've made since the last time we've talked about this, which is fine. It's part of the process. It's not a big deal. This is the 2 50-gram skeins I got from the Beetlejuice Halloween Hangover box from Muse 2320 and Alt Knots. It's working up really nicely. It's making me even more excited to use the Yucky Green yarn we got from the box too. I have a few ideas, but I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to use that for. I was thinking maybe the venomous cowl from my Halloween pattern video with the green, and then just like any black fingering weight yarn. That might be it. However, I would also want to make the spiderweb beret from that same video, and I don't know that I have enough yarn for both. In a perfect world, that's exactly what I would do. Have a matching set from different designers, hat and cowl. Maybe I can shorten the cowl a little bit and then I should have enough yarn. Much to think about. Anyway, I need to finish one cowl before I start the other, but oh boy, it's cold. It sure is cowl season. Wish I'd started this like a month sooner. I didn't drag it in here because it's... Maybe I will. Hold on. Okay, it's in a... It's got 4 balls of yarn, so it's in a jadeite bowl right now. Someday I will show you all my jadeite collection because my first real job was in an antique store and it changed me fundamentally as a person. So now I'm sitting here drinking out of my Frankoma wagon wheel mug next to my Frankoma whatever this is with yarn in it. There are some greens that I really like. Oh my god. You get it. You understand. There's something... Anyway, we'll talk about weird greens more in a moment. So this is my first knit raglan anything, which seems weird. I should have been doing this the whole time. So let me just preface this with, I knit everything on a cable that is too small because I like when it's all scrunched up. It feels easier. I don't have to like pull the work towards me. So this isn't gonna look like much of anything because it's on a really short cable, but it is in theory going to be black and white striped raglan cardigan, and wow, that's even less than I thought I had done. I did recently decide to make it cropped because all my pants and skirts are high-waisted, and since this is actually going to be not oversized, which is odd for me, it may as well be cropped as well. So maybe I'm closer than I think. But I actually think it's working out quite well. I didn't think ahead on how to prevent this, but it kind of looks cool. Sometimes it's the weird little details like that that let people know it's handmade, so that's fine with me. I do want people to talk to me about my knits. If I see you wearing something crochet in public, I'm going to talk to you because I know that's handmade. If I see a knit in public, I don't know unless it's a pattern I recognize. I did make a pretty like bold swing asking the yarn store employee, is that the Look at My Holes top by James and Watts? It was, but what a weird thing to have to ask someone. Of course, yarn store employee, like the odds were pretty good, but having to say that out loud to another human. James, you did this to me. Okay, so remembering that this is going to be cropped has kind of given me a second wind, and I want to work on it right now, but I'm dedicated to the pants. Pants, then this cardigan. And then the other thing that I cast on last night, because I couldn't wait. Okay, this was my one fun yarn purchase for Black Friday. This is from Hue Loco, I think from their 2023 fall collection. This is the Lore Witches Casting Circle colorway in the merino sock yarn. And it goes crazy. It's got a lot of swampy, mossy greens. It's got some purple. It's got a little bit of some lighter green that almost looks yellow. It's perfect. I can't. This, I mean, as far as colors go, this is like peak. This is incredible. I'm obsessed with this. I had never purchased from Hue Loco before, but Instagram is targeting me with their ads. It's like they know something, and they do, and they did, and they got me. I love it. No regrets. It was on sale and very worth it. It's very soft, very squishy. I love a sock yarn. What can I say? I got 2 of them and I cast on last night. It's like 4 rows. It's nothing to show you. I could show you and it wouldn't matter because it doesn't look like anything. But it's going to be the Autumn Leaves linear top. I was really stuck between this one and the cottagecore crop, but I decided the leafy lace would be perfect with the greens. And honestly, I think the stockinette body is going to show off the colorway really well. So I still absolutely want to make the cottagecore crop. It's just not for this yarn. I feel like this one won't take too terribly long. It is a lot of stockinette and it is not in the round, but I like purling, so whatever. I'm not the fastest purler in the world. Have y'all seen how I purl? It's weird. Do I have a purling project? This is the thing I said was not worth showing you, and I still mean that. I'm at a purling row here. Let's talk about this. Okay, so when I was learning to knit for the second time, because I did learn to knit as a child, only learned like garter rectangles and that's it. So I learned to purl as an adult, and I, for some reason, could not wrap my mind around holding the yarn with my pointer finger like I do for knitting. So I'm holding it with my thumb, moving my thumb to bring the yarn over the needle. I don't know where I got this technique. I really don't see other people doing it. It's certainly not like something I invented. Other people definitely do this. It's just not something I see. So if you purl weird, I'm here for you. So those are the things I'm going to continue working on. My Halloween socks are on hiatus. I really want to experiment with some different sock patterns because it turns out I just don't like turning heels. I even want to try the like sideways crochet back loop only slip stitch socks. You know, I've seen a couple of those patterns and they look nice. I'm not going to say knit socks are not better than crochet socks. They just kind of are. But it's something I want to try anyway. It looks like fun. Could be like really nice as slipper socks. It is also finally almost time to cast on the Hylia dress that I've been talking about for months. I have the yarn. I actually procured 2 sets of yarn. I have it in my mind that I'm going to make a winter and fall version and then a spring and summer version. So I have my drops cotton merino, enough that I think I'm going to add little sleeves. And then I have, I I think it's a cotton silk blend from Hobbii. I'm not positive. I don't remember. But that's what I intend to make my summer version out of. I'm really just stupid because what am I thinking? What am I talking about? I haven't made this thing. In my defense, the shape of this garment is exactly what I like to wear. It is exactly like all the Pine and Smith and Hinterland dresses that I already wear constantly. It is something I know I'm going to love. So the only hurdle will be me pulling it off accurately. The knitting part. It's a tank top with a skirt. I really think I can do it. It should not be hard. It should be tedious, but it should not be hard. That's the first thing on my mind as far as new cast-ons, is the Hilja dress in Drops Cotton Merino. I have also accidentally gotten into my mind that I would like to make a brown cardigan. Now, I don't own any brown whatsoever. I don't wear brown, but I went to the Oddities Expo a couple weeks ago and I saw, for some reason, several of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life wearing all black outfits with brown cardigans, and I thought, that looks so good for some reason. And I'm hoping that's not like a trend that I'm accidentally falling for, but it's really hard to be trendy when you knit your own clothes, so I'm not super worried about it. Maybe it would be a good compromise to instead use a yarn that is somewhat black and brown. There is a yarn by, I think it's Crow and Crescent. Yeah, there's a yarn by Crow and Crescent that is black and kind of a tan color that looks just like gorgeous, and I feel like this would be a good, not quite stepping stone, but a good compromise between what I think would look cool and what I know I'm actually gonna wear. The thought of buying a sweater quantity of hand-dyed yarn though, that might be a little bit of a deterrent. So we'll see. That is simply an idea, it is not a plan. But what I do actually plan to make is another sweater. So I did finish the Salty Days sweater in November, and I love it, and I wear it all the time. But my wardrobe is missing an oversized warm sweater. This sweater is oversized, it is not warm. This is cotton yarn. I made this to be sort of a transition piece that I could wear throughout a lot of the year, especially indoors, because it makes me so angry for some reason that I am expected to dress for the weather, right? I check the forecast, I check the temperature, and then I think, yeah, I'm gonna dress appropriately for that. And then I go anywhere and it's like 76 degrees inside. What are we doing? The thing that makes me the most upset is wearing so many clothes just in case, and then having to take a bunch of them off and carrying them around. I really hate the feeling of a lot of layers, especially thick layers, especially layers that touch each other too much. If I'm wearing something fitted and a thing goes on top of it, that thing has to be very oversized. They cannot be interacting with each other that much. I will freak out. On that note, another thing I would like to make soon, this will be a small project, is, I don't know what to call these. They're called, like, I've seen patterns called shrugs, called just sleeves, called whatever, but I want to make one of the things that's just a raglan sweater that stops here and it's just sleeves, because I think that would fix a lot of my problems about owning mostly tank tops and very few long sleeve shirts, because in the winter I just struggle and wear the same cardigan over and over, you know? So if I could have some sleeves that are low commitment and don't interact with my other clothes as much, I really think that would be great for me. So I'm definitely gonna make a solid black pair and then probably a black and white striped pair. I don't know that I necessarily need a pattern for that. I have the Tin Can Knits basics collection. So there's a basic raglan sweater in there. I feel like I could just use that and then stop. So I'll probably cast that on after my cowl because I like to have a big project and a smaller project going at the same time at minimum, so I can switch back and forth between those. Usually it's more than that. I like casting on, I like a new project, I like thinking about things and starting things, and I hate finishing things, so that's kind of what I'm up to, what I'm about to be up to. There was a comment on my last video that gave me an idea, and that would be talking about all of the like hand and wrist pain management things that I have. Not in like a medical sense, but like the little tools that I have to keep my hands in good like working condition so that I can keep knitting and crocheting as long as possible. I might do a video like showing you my collection of those things if that would be interesting, so let me know. I'm also planning very soon to do a video about everything I made in the fall. Technically that should be what I'm filming right now because it's the first day of winter, but the idea is a little overwhelming because I don't even remember what all I've made this fall. So I have plenty of time off next week, so I'm gonna do it. I will do it. It probably won't be as long as I'm thinking, but it'll be fun. I think my first video ever was everything I made in the spring and summer, so time to continue that tradition. I'm gonna go listen to an audiobook and work on my pants. I'm listening to The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. That's the one. The Personal Librarian. It's very good. I'm gonna get these pants done so I can wear them. It's too cold now. I hope whatever you're working on, you're having a fun, cozy little time with it. I hope you're not too stressed about the holidays. I hope this goes up before the end of the weekend. I hope a lot of things. But anyway, go have, what is it? I keep forgetting the thing that I made up to say. Go live your best yarny life, and I will see you next time. Bye.